I lost my son back in 2012. During that time, my then girlfriend and I, we had our 20-week ultrasound, and we found out that our son had a terminal condition. But it was too late to do anything, so we had to carry out the pregnancy and plan a birth and a funeral at the exact same time. After we had buried our son Christian, then my girlfriend and I kind of went our separate ways, and I took that breakup extremely hard. I was doing some things that unhealthy habits, probably drinking too much, which also led me to get a DWI. So then I ended up losing my job on top of everything. So I was kind of shouting out to the heavens, why me? Why? What exactly is my lesson to learn in all this? I had reached out to my church, wasn't getting the answers that I needed, reached out to a couple different therapists, had multiple talk therapy sessions, and you know how they always say, all too often traditional therapy fails to facilitate change? I wasn't receiving the change or the feedback that I needed to evolve the situation into a more positive light. So I ended up firing a couple of my therapists because I wasn't getting anywhere with them, or I wasn't getting what I needed. I ended up stumbling across Rebecca, given that my mom exposed me to all this way back in the day with John Edward, the whole crossing over show. She would always bring me into the room when I was a little kid. I've always been a believer, but I never had to seek out that counsel, if that makes sense. And when I went to Rebecca, with a couple large audience readings here in town, I probably went to, I think, 3 of hers. And I never got that individual reading. I'm like, come on, why? I need it more than everybody else, because my life kind of seemed like it was just spiraling out of control. And so when she had mentioned that her small group readings were available and everybody was guaranteed a reading, and so I thought to myself, I'm independent, I'm comfortable going places by myself, so I'll go ahead and, give this a whirl. What's the harm that can come from it? And it was amazing when she first read me. Everybody, absolutely everybody that I thought about in the car driving to the small group reading, everybody came through. And also during that time, my best friend Richard had passed away of cancer too, on top of everything else. She got even names correct, which is, I would assume, is so difficult to do. And so many people that think, oh, that's just a guessing game. No, she got everybody right. She said, there's a C, a Chris, somebody who was close to you. I'm like, Christian was my son. Did he live for 3? I'm like, yes, 3 days. And she was mentioning that it was his time to go. He was only contracted here for 3 days. And I finally got the closure that I needed. And it was amazing. And during the small group reading, maybe it was 16, 17 full minutes that I received. But I call this the ultimate talk therapy, where you don't even have to do any of the talking. All you have to do is ask and then receive. All you have to do is sit back and listen. And what she had mentioned to me, when I walked out of there, I got exactly what I needed. I was finally able to cross that threshold or that hurdle that I was so desperately trying to overcome. I finally received the closure that I was ultimately seeking, and then I also received some interesting tidbits of my future. I'll always go to Rebecca for small group readings. I always have a plan to see her at least once a year. I think it's great because then you're not only able to connect with people from the other side that you miss dearly, but I also like the validation that either A, I'm on the right track, or B, are there any pit stops or pitfalls that I should be concerned about, or maybe I can try to avoid in the future. I think that if I would have done things differently, where we're all here in life to learn our own life lessons, I would say to everybody who is questioning whether or not they should go to a small group reading, or who can kind of relate to my scenario with loss, grief, depression, etc., don't make going to see somebody like Rebecca the last resort. Save some time and some heartache and seek out people like Rebecca as a first resort. Therefore, perhaps you don't need to go down dark paths. You don't need to go down other avenues that might not be the best fit for you.